What's poppin', fellow sneakerheads? And I hope all of y'all had a great Christmas, a happy holidays, and it's the 30th right now while I'm recording this. So I hope you guys have a happy new year as well and bring in 2025 with the best intentions for next year. I want you to have a great year next year, and I want you to end 2024 with a bang. Now, let's get into it. Now, since it's the end of the year, it's almost over. Aren't any more releases coming out that I'm interested in as far as Jordans go. So, not to say I might not pick up a few more, uh, but if so, it's not gonna probably be any pairs that release this year. It'll probably be a couple older pairs. But other than that, I won't be buying anything else until 2025 comes around as far as recent releases and things like that. I did manage to buy about 30 pairs as far as what dropped this year in 2024. I'll speak about that later, make some content on that later as well. But right now, what I want to talk about is my top 10 pickups for 2024. Now, before I get into my list, I'm not basing this off of hype, price, how well they did, how much they sold for, how many times you've seen them online on social media, or how many YouTube videos were made, or who likes them, or what. I'm basing this off of my top 10 out of what I bought for 2024. Other people might not think some of these shoes should be on this list, but for me, this is my top 10, my top 10 favorites out of everything I picked up for 2024. And I chose these 10 for a lot of different reasons, which I'll explain as I get into the shoes. So without further ado, I'm going to start with number 10. For number 10, I picked one of the earlier releases of the year. This came out in February, the Air Jordan 3 Craft Ivory. Make sure you get a good look at the shoe there. Now, just real quick, my reasoning for picking this as my 10th shoe, for the reason why this made the list, because I'm sure a lot of people, this won't even make their list. This probably won't even pop up in their head. Some, it might be number one for them, but a lot will overlook it, just like this shoe didn't really have a lot of hype around it. It kind of got overlooked. But the reason why it made number 10 on my list was because of the detail and the differences in this and every other Jordan 3 before it. Because, see, they went the extra mile on these when it comes to detail, man. They threw in that little extra lip right there of suede above the elephant print. And then they threw it in right here where the eye stays are for the laces. And then they also threw it in right here, which added a nice little extra flair to it, added detail that was never seen on the 3 before. And then I like how it fades from the white to the sail. And then the dual branding, the Nike Air and the Jumpman with the Air on the back. That's just genius. Anytime they put that on a shoe, I loved it. And then they just put the icing on the cake and topped it off with the dual Jumpmans on the tongue. It almost looks like the Jumpman has a shadow. And to me, that just killed it, man. When I first seen the first looks of this shoe and I seen them two Jumpmans on the tongue, that sold it for me right there. Like that right there, I knew then I had to have them. And then when I seen it had the dual branding in the back with the Jumpman and the Nike Air, I was like, yeah. And then as more got revealed, you seen all the other extra stuff. So that's why the Air Jordan 3 Craft Ivory made number 10 on my list. Now, number 9 on my list is another shoe that got slept on, in my opinion, and overlooked. It sat on sneakers quite a bit longer than I felt like it would have or should have. I mean, everybody I know who bought the pair loves it, and it's an amazing pair. Should have did better, in my opinion. But anyway, it made number 9 on my list once again because of the detail, the packaging, the storytelling behind it, and that is the Air Jordan 5 El Grito. Now, once again, the story behind these and the packaging and presentation of this shoe all together was amazing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you go to my review on my TikTok or YouTube and see my review on the Jordan 5 El Grito, where I tell you all about the story and inspiration behind this, as well as break down to you the packaging and presentation and things like that. But as you can see, just from looking at this shoe, man, they put a lot of detail into it, man. And it tells a story about Mexican pride and Mexican independence and heritage. And as you also see, they got that same detail all around the toe box on these. Leather right there instead of the mesh like you normally see. And this is premium leather. This is all good leather. Once again, the detail on the tongue, the detail on the sock liner. I mean, these are an amazing pair, man. An amazing pair that tell an amazing story. And this was number 9, the Air Jordan 5 El Grito. Number 8 on my list is a pair that I was really looking forward to getting. Man, I was trying to pick it up as early as December before it dropped in December 2023. I tried to buy it a couple times in January, and for whatever reason, it ended up canceled on GOAT and StockX. And then finally, I ended up getting a pair. I got mine a little bit early, and that is the Air Jordan 4 Bread or Black Cement Reimagined. This is number 8 on my list. Now, I haven't personally owned any pair of the Bread 4. This is my first pair of the Bread 4 that I've ever owned. And I wanted the Nubuck pair. I'm a big fan of Suede and Nubuck. But man, when I seen the pictures of these and seeing how these look with this leather, man, and seeing it was this good premium leather, man, I just fell in love with these, man. And they really did their thing on this pair, man. This is a nice pair, man. Just seeing this pair right here made me just know that this year we were going to end up getting a reimagined black cement and get that Nubuck or that Suede pair that everybody thought we were going to get. I would have loved to see them. That would have been fire. But they did their thing on these right here. And that's why the Air Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined is 8 on my list of the top 10 pickups of 2024. Now, coming in at number 7 is a shoe that, in my opinion, should have been a part of the Reimagined series as well. And it's a fresh take on what is one of Michael Jordan's favorites and probably almost everybody's favorite, the Air Jordan 11 Bread. But this is the women's Air Jordan 11 Bread Velvet. And I happen to be one of the lucky individuals that can fit size 12 women. So when they don't release in extended sizes, I can still get that size 12 because it's a 10 and a half men's. So I was lucky enough to be able to get these. You might not see these on a lot of men's top 10 lists because they can't fit them. Fortunately, I can. And these are just amazing, man. The detail. Jumpman reminds me of the Jumpman on the 72, 10, 11 high tops. So there's a 23 in the back. But I mean, that velvet, man, they did their thing with that velvet, man. And as long as you take care of this pair is always going to look good, man. One thing about the patent leather, man, after a while, it can start to lose its luster, lose its shine a bit. But this, man, as long as you don't stain it and get it wet and mess it up, this will keep its luster for a long time, man. Not to say that I'm not a fan of the breads or I'm knocking the breads because they're the OG. You know, wouldn't be one of these without the OG. But man, this was a nice execution, man. I'm definitely feeling these, man. That's why these made number 7 on my top 10 pickups of 2024. Number 6 on my list is another Air Jordan 3, the Air Jordan 3 Wings. Now, this is a pair that I actually was able to hit for on sneakers quick. And so I knew, like, man, these must be sitting, man. This can't be a pair that was limited that everybody wanted. but I checked and had some other people check, and they were sold out. Like right after I got the notification I hit, they were sold out. These went fast. The stock numbers on them was really limited. I'm not sure how many, but it was highly limited on these. And the value on them stayed pretty good for a while. I mean, 10 and a half, 11 stayed in the 300 range. It's still pretty much last time I checked in the 300 range. And these are beautifully made shoes. They're a part of the Jordan Brand Wings program or Wings Foundation, which helps provide scholarships. And you see it's got that rose gold hang tag. It's got a flower pattern on that canvas with the classic elephant print. Got some not dual branding, but it does have a rose behind that Jumpman. And instead of the Air, it has a PDX, which is a shout out to Portland and the Portland Airport call code. These were designed by one of the 2024 Wing Scholar recipients. And she was from Portland, Oregon. So that's why she designed these. And the reason why they were flower themed is because Portland is known as the Rose City. So that's why there's a rose on them. And then it says up rose on the tongue on this one. And then on the other one, it says I too have thorns, which again is a play on the roses for Rose City. And this makes number 6 for my list of the top 10 2024 pickups, the Air Jordan 3 Wings. Number 5 is a pair that I've always wanted, but unfortunately, when they originally came out back in 02, 03, I'm talking about 2000 to 2003, I was incarcerated. I was in state prison, so I wasn't able to buy them. By the time I came out, it was on to the 18. The internet wasn't popping back then like it is now, so you really didn't have an easy way to find older sneakers. You pretty much just had to buy whatever was available in your stores around release and stuff. So this was a pair I never thought I'd be able to own. And then later on, I looked online, but all of the pairs from back then were either way too beat up, or if they were brand new, I was worried that they would crumble or come apart a lot quicker. So I passed on them. But luckily this year, they brought a couple of those pairs back, and that is the Air Jordan 17, but more specifically, the Air Jordan 17 Low UNC. And these came in the briefcase this time around, this one and the Lightning. Originally, only the high top pairs came with the briefcase. The low tops didn't. They came with dust bags and a regular box. But this time around, they did. And they were $300, and they were extremely limited and hard to get. I was lucky enough to get this pair for a somewhat reasonable price and a little bit early. I have a review up as well and an unboxing. But this is my number 5, man. I love blue, especially Carolina blue. I love Jordan 17s. It's just something about them. The shape, the look of them just always stood out to me. And then probably because I couldn't have them when they came out, made me want them more. And so this is a pair I always wanted, and I was geeked to be able to get them. And that's why they're number 5 on my list of the top 10 pickups of 2024. Now, I'm sure a few of y'all are going to be pretty surprised when you find out what my number 4 pick is for my top 10 pickups of 2024. But for me, I mean, this shoe just does it, man. And that is the Air Jordan 12 SP Soulfly Cafecito. Now, 12s have always had a special place in my heart because it's the first Jordan silhouette that I ever had in life. I wasn't able to get them as a kid, so I was a teenager before I was ever able to get a pair, and it was the Jordan 12 Taxi. I had every colorway that released originally of the Jordan 12 and most of the 13s. Those were the first Jordans I got into and what got me into Jordans and sneaker collecting. And so the 12s already have a special place in my heart. But then when you take into account the details and the presentation, the packaging, the storytelling, everything that goes into this pair here, and if you want to know more about that, you're going to have to check out my review that I posted on the Air Jordan 12 Soulfly Cafecito. But all of that is why this shoe made number 4 on my list. I mean, you see that cracked leather. You see that soft, buttery leather right there, man. I mean, a Jordan 12 has never had leather that good on it. Never. Soulfly branding. Got the fly on this tongue and sole on the other. Got the more premium diamond stitch sock liner. And then you got so much details just in the bottom. Those are supposed to look like floor tiles. And man, there's Jumpmans everywhere on there if you look up close. I mean, every little square has a Jumpman. Then those other squares with the cross in them got Soulfly branding and 4 Jumpman in the corner, each corner by the cross. I mean, the detail on these is crazy, man. And that's what made me pick these as number 4 on my list of the top 10 pickups of 2024. Now, my number 3 pick, personally for me, is like one of my top grails that I've always wanted. Ever since I started collecting again around 2015, 2016, when I started back collecting again and working on the collection I have currently, uh, I did a lot of online buying for a long time because I just wasn't hitting on raffles and they wasn't coming out with a lot of stuff I wanted. It just was easier to secure pairs I wanted online. And at one point, it was even a little cheaper too, especially for some of the older pairs. And as I was looking, I found a lot of the older pairs that to me were straight grails. And those are pairs that were a little more exclusive, a little more limited, a little harder to get and cost a little more. And some of those to me, which just happened to be at one point, like to me, my all-time grail before I was really, really up on the PEs and samples and stuff like I am now. Like to me, the ultimate pair I could get back then would have been any of the Ben 23 Premio pairs. And now I'm fortunate to say where I'm at with the collecting. I have 3 of those 5 pairs of the Ben 23 Premios. And I picked up the other 2 last year in 2023, but this year in 2024, I picked up my 3rd pair, and I'm hoping in 2025 to pick up the last 2 I need to round off the whole collection. But my number 3 for my top 10 pickups of 2024 is the Air Jordan 5 Ben 23 Premio. And if you know anything about this shoe, that says it enough. It speaks for itself. I mean, the quality, stupid crazy leather, super soft, super premium. Leather right here instead of the mesh. 3M on the tongue, white laces to add the perfect contrast. The Ben 23 wax stamp on the back. And then, since 1985, number 1,253 out of 2,133 pairs. And they came with premium wood shoe trees with gold accents. They came in a different box than any other pairs came in. And they had a dust bag for each shoe. Not a dust bag for the whole pair, one for each shoe. Each shoe had its own dust bag with a Jumpman and a Ben 23 on it. So this limited, rare, fire exclusive pair is number 3 on my list of my top 10 pickups for 2024. The Air Jordan 5 Ben 23 Premio. If you'd like to see a review on this and any of my other Ben 23 pairs, let me know in the comments and I'll get on top of it. Now, so hopefully you've liked what you've seen so far and you feel the way I feel about it and you've seen some heat. And so in that case, you know, number 2 and number 1 got to be, I mean, to beat that Ben 23.5 out at number 3, number 2 and number 1 got to be pretty fire, right? Yeah, pretty exclusive. Yeah. And it didn't necessarily have to be because I like a lot of GRs. But it just so happens that this year I picked up 2 fire pairs. And the first one, which comes in at number 2 on my list of my top 10 pickups of 2024, is the Air Jordan 23 Howard Bison's PE. And you can see that bison on the side embossed in the suede, their mascot. And you can see Mike's signature down there at the toe box and the Howard Bison's on the tongue. HU, you know, on the back of the tongue. Jumpman on the inside. Yeah, beautiful pair. This is 1 out of 10 pairs that were made for the college teams that Jordan Brand endorses. And this was the Howard University pair. And this is number 2 on my list of pickups for 2024. Finally, we get to it. The number 1 pair on my list of my top 10 pickups for 2024. Now, I went through some crazy pairs, man. A few general release pairs, a few pairs that are a little more exclusive, and then got into some real exclusive pairs. So we're going to end it with a pair that's even more exclusive than the last pair, but on the same note, and that is at number 1, the Air Jordan 23 Michigan Wolverines player exclusive. And you can see the Michigan Wolverine embossed in the suede on the side. Dope. That big M. Mike's signature on the toe box once again. You got the Michigan M on the tongue. Gold blue on the back of the tongue. You got that basketball short mesh on the collar. Jumpman in the insole. And once again, this is 2 because I have the Howard pair. So this is 2 out of 10 of the Air Jordan 23 pairs that were made for the universities that Jordan Brand endorses. And this was my number 1 pickup for 2024. I hope y'all liked it. I hope y'all seen some heat. Let me know what you think about these pairs in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't, make sure you're subscribed or you're following. But most importantly, stay tuned and keep coming back. Hope you had a great Christmas and an even better New Year. See you in 2025.